And welcome back to Nancy's Neighborhood. And I told y'all we were going to have some guests today, and we do. And I have a dear friend on today, and it's real funny because I called him and asked him to do this, and then I called him and canceled, and then I called back and said, nope, wait, you're not canceled. We have to do this. Because this is Matt Ryerson from the United Way of the Ocoee region, and we have a real exciting opening happening that involves the Boys and Girls Club, and I wanted Matt to come on and tell us about it.
Yeah, this is campaign season for us at the United Way, and we are always working with so many loyal contributors, donors across the community, and we also partner with a range of nonprofits. One of our key pillar nonprofits is the Boys and Girls Club, as you mentioned. They do incredible work. If you're not familiar with the Boys and Girls Club, they have 8 units all around the community, ranging from Benton, Tennessee, to downtown Cleveland here on 3rd Street, Tucker unit, and several others in different neighborhoods. So it's really a neighborhood-based after-school program.
Do they still have the one at Cleveland State?
They do.
Okay.
They have one over at Cleveland State on the campus there, serving the surrounding community, which is a great resource and a great partnership, again, with Cleveland State. Well, we have one donor that's been a long time loyal donor of the United Way, but he also has a great passion and love of the Boys and Girls Club. And that's our friend Ed Jacobs.
Absolutely.
And Ed might be watching today, and we'd say hello to Ed and his wife Karen. But he has been a long-standing contributor to the United Way, and he is one of those donors that gives sacrificially. His gift is big and generous, and probably beyond his capacity, and that's the type of giving that's always inspirational. And we had some conversations with him this summer, and we had some conversations coincidentally and separately with Derek Kinsey over at the Boys and Girls Club. And Derek at the Boys and Girls Club was talking about one community that's somewhat underserved. And there's a community off of Georgetown Road, Green Drive. If you're not familiar where Green Drive is, which a lot of people probably aren't, if you're familiar with Clingan Ridge Baptist Church on Georgetown, not far from the bicycle shop down the street, Clingan Ridge Baptist Church, and Pastor Moats, who's the pastor there, who has an incredible vision for serving that neighborhood. There are some surrounding neighborhoods there where, quite honestly, if you go there right after school buses are dropping kids off, and they don't have anywhere to go.
No, and I followed them Georgetown Road, so I know there's every driveway they're dropping off 3, 4, 5 kids. Right.
If you've had the bad luck to fall behind the bus, it takes a while.
That's exactly right.
But if you watch those kids, they go into apartment complexes generally or into these neighborhoods, and they'll throw their bags down, and mom and dad may be working, and a lot of times they wait until mom and dad get home from work, and that's not the most safe environment. It's not, most kids aren't inspired to study or do their homework.
No.
And so we love to get them engaged with an after-school program. So Derek had been talking, I'd love to serve that community. Having that conversation with Ed, we'd love to serve that community. And finally, we just made an ask of Ed and said, Ed, we think this is your community. These are your people. It's very similar circumstance which Ed grew up. He grew up, and his wife, Karen, grew up in very humble, good families, but humble beginnings. And now he's in a position where he can give back, and he felt really compelled and inspired. He started touring the neighborhood himself, going over there late at night, checking out, and he was bothered by the number of kids that didn't have a safe place to go. And so he met with Derek and I, and essentially funded that entire unit, the launching of that entire unit himself. We begged him. He said, no, don't name it after me, but we begged him and we said, Ed, this is really an inspiration to the kids and the families in this neighborhood to get to know you and your story, to communicate that moving forward. And so he agreed. And so today, this afternoon, we're cutting ribbon with the Boys and Girls Club, their new unit called the Jacobs Unit at Clingan Ridge Baptist Church there on Georgetown Road. The church there has, the cost is so minimal because the church has also significantly invested. Pastor Moats has done an amazing job in his congregation in loaning out space at no cost, and the space is fantastic. Y'all got to get over there and check it out. I know you're going to go over soon, Nancy. It is already laid out with some classrooms, some cafeteria space, office space, homework room, computer labs.
Wow.
It's all laid out perfectly. There was some space that we did some work on, and the Boys and Girls Club did a great job pulling in some volunteers from a number of places that came over and invested time. it is going to be a top-notch unit. In fact, I dare say one of the best units in our community, and it really goes back to Derek Kinsey's leadership, the generosity of Ed Jacobs, and then the Baptist Church over there and Pastor Moats and their willingness to invest. That community is really going to be impacted in a positive way. So it's really exciting.
That you're getting me excited talking about it because you're excited. Okay, is it actually going to be in the church, or I know there's a building there kind of beside them. So
yes, you're right on. If you're not familiar, you are, Nancy. There's the main church, and there is a building that's off to the side. They own that building, and that's where the primary part of. Now they're going to use space in both buildings.
Oh, okay.
And really, Pastor Moat sees this as a terrific outreach for his church as well. And
absolutely,
his congregation's behind it 100%. So they're using a couple spaces in there, but it's really spectacular. It's something we're seeing.
I think that's great. Now, normally Boys and Girls Club hours are what, 4 to or 3:30?
Yeah, right after school. So it depends on the unit, what kids they serve. But yeah, right around that 3:30 window when they start. They do some transportation. Some kids will get transported by bus after school. They'll be dropped off there, and the hours go until 8 p.m. So they do homework, they do recreational, they do breakout sessions, they do technology. They've done robotics in the past.
Wow.
They do all sorts of really cool stuff. So these kids are really engaged for that time. So whenever mom or dad get home and can get over to get the kids, most of them can get there by that time. That includes food. So when you think about some of these families, these kids are getting a nutritious, healthy meal while they're there at the Boys and Girls Club.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And the bus driver is probably going to be thrilled to death to just have to make one stop on Georgetown Road, because honestly, it's just like we drive to this driveway and then we go to this driveway and then we go to that apartment building parking lot. And you know, every time I think, Nancy, you knew not to come this way at 3:15.
It's funny, and not to get off topic, but I remember back in the day of going to school, and I rode the bus. I don't remember getting that many stops. I remember they'd stop somewhere and everybody had to walk like
That's right. I mean,
which is good. It's good.
Right.
The kids are safer, but
that is true.
It's funny.
And I guess when we were growing up, of course, I'm older than you, but when we were growing up, people didn't worry about the things they worry about now.
Right.
We could get off the bus and walk 2 blocks and it would be
Yes.
okay because we knew everybody in the neighborhood. But I am so excited about this, and I'm so excited that Ed and Karen have done this. They're 2 of my dearest friends. I just love them to death. And I know Ed's passion for kids, and Karen's too. And so I'm just excited to death about it.
It is exciting, and the grand opening, the ribbon cuttings this afternoon, and kids are there this week, and it's already becoming one of the largest units. So it's already a success.
So kids are already there.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So they started serving kids on Monday.
That's super. Now, how big a staff do they have?
I think that I'm not sure about that. I want to say they have 4, 2 full-time, 2 part-time. I'm not sure about all the details on that. It depends on ratios, so they also have to wait to see how many kids come.
Oh,
so
I got you.
They have to have so many staff available for so many kids. So part of that is figuring that out as time goes on, what kids go home early and when they can send staff home. So I think there's some figure in there, but there's 3 or 4. It's really interesting. The lead on that is a young woman named Denise. She used to be Denise Cruz, and she recently got married. She's a former student of mine. She's bilingual, and of course that community there's a large Hispanic population there, and so to get that connection for her to be able to speak some of their home language is going to just be another benefit. And it also shows the thoughtfulness of the Boys and Girls Club to make sure they're connecting with those neighborhoods.
Absolutely. Well, I know I'm just so encouraged by the Boys and Girls Club and so thrilled for anything. I taught a couple of JA classes for Derek when he was out at the Powers unit.
Yes.
That was interesting. And but it was okay. I mean, we did okay. And because the first day Derek came in and he said, if you need me, I said, hey, I don't need you. You go away. I can handle this. And I did. But it was interesting. And then the Benton Boys and Girls Club, I got notification right before Cherry's Jubilee last year that they were building little children's picnic tables.
Yes.
Out of oak. I mean, they were really nice picnic tables.
Yeah.
So I ordered one for Cherry's Jubilee, and they delivered it.
Yeah.
I mean, there they were in the van, and it was so funny because when they got there, they couldn't figure out how to get it out of the van. They'd gotten it in there, but it really didn't want to come out the way they'd gotten it in there. They finally got it in there, and then we auctioned it off. So it was donation to them and then a donation to our arts projects here in Cleveland. So, I'll try to keep you all informed anytime that's going to happen, because I did put it out on email that they had those little picnic tables.
Yeah.
And they were something like $75 a piece.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something,
they were
just
great.
nothing.
Great.
But someone from the Forestry Service had volunteered to help them draw out the plans and cut the wood and do all of that. So I think that's so good, and it's keeping the kids off the streets.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a great program.
And that is so important, important. So, Matt, thank you so much for being on with me today. I know you've got to rush. You've got a meeting. Matt's a busy person, and but I do appreciate you coming on with me. And I told you I had the girls from Imagination Library on Monday, and we talked about that. And I told everybody if they've got $12 left in their checking account at the end of the year, need to write a check for $12 and put Imagination Library on it, send it to United Way, because that will furnish a book a month for one child.
For an entire year.
For an entire year.
Yeah. So it's a great deal.
Absolutely. Matt, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Don't go away. We'll be right back with another guest. So watch these commercials and be sure you support our sponsors, because they help pay our bills.